Dear students, welcome to Organizational Leadership Module 5, class part 5. As I told you that in this part we are going to discuss on transformational leadership. As compared to charismatic leadership, this also type of leadership which has its own importance and value. uh, J.M. Burns, first he articulated and found this type of transformational leadership in 1908, which is majorly focusing on the vision of leaders rather than the followers' characteristics or attributions. Here we say that these type of leaders are known for making biggest changes. These people are something moving and changing things in a very big way. They have very good communication skills where they use these skills in developing certain specific vision into the followers for the future and trying to tap the followers, giving them very higher ideas and motive which can be helping a leader to get work done by the followers. So these transformation leadership, as I told you, these people change the present status quo and articulate the same thing into the followers by helping them to solve their present problems with the current system and taking them to the future vision of a new organizational. Next we have something like transactional leadership. These people are, name itself says that these people think are having something attitude that whatever is there at the present they use it and they do it. So these people usually maintain the stability within an organization, as I told you, through a regular economic and social exchange, which will be helping those people to achieve their goals of both, like leader and their followers. But what difference here is there, with respect to transformational leadership? This transactional leadership will be having an attitude of achieving goals for both of them. Leader and their followers both will be having same type of goals and they achieve. But here in a transformational leadership, major concentration will be given on the vision of the leader rather than the any follower attributes or say the characteristics. So this is the major difference what we people can find. So what are the effects of transformational leadership on the followers? Now this type of a leadership is like a process which will be having a very positive influence on the change, which is forming the organization, the committee into the organization, or it may be an individual into the organization. And this is also going to influence the shift of focus from self-interest to the focus to the collective interest, where we have Henry Ford's principles like subordination of individual interest, okay, to the organizational, where here the interest of a single follower or group of followers not be taken. It is something like a collective interest which will be helping to achieve a goal and helping an organization in development. So next we have something very, the followers will be very much inspired and motivated. They will be generating some trust into them, okay, because of the examples given to the followers by a leader. Then generating very much excitement, energy by focusing on the future where altogether how much this excitement energy will be held by a leader for the future, the same thing is transferred into the followers in transformational type of leadership. So he will be influencing the team to get a good performance and the potentiality of team will be utilized. Then at the end we have a very strong, it has very strong and significant influence on organizational leading. See to it that what present status organization holds, that will be taken to the future with a new learning, with a new experience and developing stability into organization with the help of leadership. See the transformational leader behavior attitude. There are certain type of behaviors which is behavioral dimensions of the behavior of this transformational leader, okay, which is proposed by Bass and Avilio. What we call it as 4 I's. So one we have idealized influence, which as I told you, a charisma, which should be included. We have inspirational motivation, individual consideration, and the fourth one, intellectual situation. For charisma, this is something like developing a great or ability of any leader in developing a great symbolic power, which can be helping him to influence his own followers. So this power has to be generated, okay, into the type of leader. Second, we have inspirational motivation, employing a visionary explanation, and that will be transferred to the group for an accomplishment. The ability of him in developing the vision, and that vision can be transferred or convinced to the work group or transferred to the work group for accomplishment. The third one we have individual consideration, how a leader will be maintaining his followers on an individual basis. So there's something it is he serves like a monitor for the followers, assuming that these people will be like a part of a team, no doubt, and they often play a role of mentoring, assuming that these transformer leaders will be helping each and every follower with respect to the problems they face in accomplishing the job given to them or mission given to them. The fourth one we have intellectual stimulation. This talks about how a leader has a creativity or ability of thinking out of the box, and this will be inspiring the followers, okay, and the followers to question their own belief and how those people are to learn, so, or creatively solving the problems what they face themselves in the on the job. So next we have something like transformational leaders behavior. Here we have two parts, two columns, one behavioral components and description. So what is the behavioral component? First, the behavioral component of any transformational leader is that creation and articulation of the vision. This talks something about how any leader's behavior will be finding a new opportunity, okay, for an organization, how he formulates, okay, that opportunity, and we articulates that opportunity into the vision of the organization, and also the same into the followers by inspiring them for the better future certain vision. Next we have role modeling. This is something like a leader sets an example for his own followers, and consistently he will be having the same into him in the form of value and expectations. The same will be looked by the followers while following his or her leader. Next we have fostering a buy-in of team's goals. This type of behavior is majorly aimed in building teamwork and encouraging the followers and getting shared values or common values among the team for the what purpose the team has been formed. Next, we have few more behavioral components like personalized leader-member exchange. I told you people, like mentoring also comes under this. And this usually indicates that how leader builds a trust into the followers, how much respect he builds among the relationship with both of them, the confidence in among leader and the follower, and is more concerned about their personal needs and not just for the organizational needs. So this also includes when there may be a vision of the leader is very important in transactional leadership style, but still it is also must that see to it that along with the organizational needs, the personal needs of the followers also met. So empowerment talks about how much he thinks in the out of the box, have a creativity. That empowerment of that ability has to be built into the followers by the leader. So this exam is like where the followers will be changing the oldest way of doing the job with the new methods, okay, and that will be welcomed by the team and a transactional leader. Next, we have something high performance expectation. So this is a behavior which will be conveying the leader's expectation towards the followers that every day excellence has to be brought, the superior performance has to be raised on the part of followers. So these are certain behaviors and behavior components and descriptions of the transformation leadership. Next, we have something called like stewardship and servant leadership. Both are something which is like, but still they differ. When these two are always focusing on, we're giving more opportunity to the others, helping others to develop, okay, a potentiality into them, and something like a successor planet. Now leader will be developing the, or uh, one leader into the followers. So this main focus of this type of leadership are like empowering followers to exercise leadership in establishing whatever job is being given to the followers to achieve organizational goals, and with respect to shifting the leadership paradigm into the followers. So stewardship and servant leadership are about placing the followers front at the front, and weaving as a model of success leadership in the field of profession. The what are the nature of stewardship and servant leadership? First, we go with the stewardship. Now, this is something more focus will be given on the employees, okay, rather than a leader. Here, a leader will be empowering the followers to take their own decisions and how those people are going to control their own job. So, this is all about stewardship, which will be helping or empowering or giving total a delegation, a total authority which will be delegated to the employees or the followers in helping themselves on their own job. When we are talking about servant leadership, this is something like transferring a self interest to serve the needs of the others, and these type of leaders will be helping a lot the followers to grow them personally or professionally. So when we are talking about both of no, both of the leadership styles, here certain natures are very common. Both leadership styles have more emphasis on having patience, being very kind to the followers, developing humanity type of behavior attitude, giving more respect to the followers, developing honesty and commitment relationship among the leader and the followers. They are going to lead from the positions of moral influence, not on the basis of power, and these people are very much the follower centered people. They all depend on the followers. Last, we have the leader is usually driven to serve, not be served. Now here leader will be serving the followers, helping the followers in each and every moment or activity of the process which they have to achieve their own organizational objectives or mission given to them. So he don't expect that will be or the followers will be helping a leader. No, leader will be helping the followers. There is a framework for a stewardship type of leadership. We have four major dimensions like work orientation, decentralization, reward assumptions, and equality assumptions. Here in this type of stewardship leadership qualities, here we have very strong teamwork orientation. Stewardship believes it works in such a situations that where you can find self a core employees, and a leader will be working together with the employees in formulating strategies, okay, and for changing the environment of marketplace. Next we have decent. As I told you, these people more rely on followers, and the major objective or intention behind such leadership is because to develop the next generation leader. So here what happens, the enough opportunity will be given to a followers to take their own decisions on the job, and keeping or getting work done by the employees with interacting with the customers. Especially this happens best suitable when employees have a direct contact with the employees, with the customers, whereas employees need to take decision on spot. Here it is important that when the scope of taking decision is given to an employee at the moment when he is interacting with the customer, it all depends on the leader's ability, how he has developed a capacity of taking a decision at the moment when it bargains for any employee to take. Uh, this is how it comes. And the third one, we have equality assumption. There will be no differentiation between the leader and the followers. It is perceived that both have equality of position, respect, okay, among them, and the strength of both are almost equal, what is being assumed. Here, this is something like very partnership type of a relationship which is built between the leader and the follower, and there will be no command structure. This is something like both altogether like free range type of leader will be a leader will be managing the team. So last we have reward assumptions. This gives the greatest responsibility for any employees in the hand to work on them and take their own reward. So next we have guidelines of servant leadership. Okay, what guidelines that any servant leadership get? One, this type of leaders will be always serving others rather than serving themselves or having their own self interest. Say they work on the interest of the others, they always want to keep trust, okay, by earning it from the followers, and always they discover that inner spirit by helping the others, and they have very good listening skills towards the others, where because of this only that will be helping any servant type of leadership in giving good suggestion to the followers and taking suggestions from the followers and collectively bargaining on certain decision making or decisions. So here, your part 5 ends for organizational leadership module 5. For please go through part 6 also, where we have some different concept like leadership of culture and the uh, the like, destiny, etc. Thank you.